All right, here's our study guide for tomorrow's test. Let's go ahead and go over the directions. Read and solve each question in its simplest form. All right, then circle the letter of the best answer, All right, first one right here. Larry has 24 DVDs. That's good to know. Larry has 24 DVDs. His new case only holds 3/4 of his DVD collection. How many DVDs will his case hold? All right. Now, 3/4 and 24 is what we got right here. What you'll notice, though, is the whole problem is listed right there in front of you. We actually read it. The problem that we are going to lay out is listed right there. If it holds 3/4 of his DVD collection, how many DVDs are in his DVD collection? 24. So 3/4. What did I say of means? Multiply. So of means multiply. So 3/4 of his DVD collection. Well, his DVD collection is 24 DVDs. There you go. He just gave you the whole problem right there in that first sentence. In the first sentence right there. 3/4 of 24. 3/4 of 24. That means times. All right. Now, there's a problem here. We have a whole number. You can't have a whole number when we're multiplying or dividing. We have to get rid of them. And the two ways we get rid of them is put a 1 under it or text this. This one we can't text this, so we'll be putting a 1 under it. All right, 3 times 24. 3 times 24, 72. 4 times 1, 4. And there we go. We got that, what we call the big-headed baby. We got the 72 over 4, the improper fraction. The head is way too big. We have to shrink it down. Now remember, if it's an improper fraction, long division. If it's a proper fraction, short division. So think, if it's proper, you have less work to do. If it's improper, you have more work to do. This is improper, so we have more work to do. Long division. Does McDonald's sell burgers? So the 4 on the outside, denominator at the door, numerator in the house. 4 goes into 7 one time. And if you forget, divide. That's what we just did. Does McDonald's sell burgers? All right, so we divided. Now we're going to multiply. 1 times 4. We'll get 4. Subtract would be the next step. Sell. All right, so 7 minus 4 is 3. B, bring down. So bring down that 2. All right, 4 goes into 32. That's a lot easier of a 1. So that's 8 times. 8 times 4, 32. Exact number, so we have no numerator. No remainder is no numerator. If there's no numerator or remainder, that means there's no fraction with it. The whole number is your answer. The whole number is your answer, 18. That would be B, 18. All right, I'll leave that in the window. I'm going to move it down to number 2. Please get that written in if that's not what you have. All right. Kristen has 5/8 of an hour left to finish 5 math problems on the test. How much time does she have to spend on each problem? All right. So 5/8 hours left to finish 5 math problems. All right. How much time does she have to spend on each problem? Each problem. Each. All right. So the word each is your hint. Remember we talked about each. When you see each, most times it's divide, a few times it's multiply. It depends if they want a big number from you or a small number. Well, if you have less than an hour left to finish 5 math problems, that means you have even less time to finish each problem, right? That makes sense. If I have less than an hour to finish 5 problems, I have even less time than that to finish each one of those 5 problems. So we're getting to a smaller number. So you see each, you know we're heading to a smaller number, it will be divide. So this is a division problem. Now here's the thing though, we have been trained throughout our years, we've been trained throughout our years to go ahead and put the big number first. Not always the case, because we're splitting it up into 5. We're taking that 5/8 and we're splitting it by 5s. All right, we got to get it down. So to do so, we're going to take the 5/8 and we're going to divide it by 5 to finish it. All right, now just like multiply and divide, no whole numbers. There's a whole number. Let's get rid of it. Put a 1 under it. Now we can KFC. KFC. Keeping 5/8. Times. Division flips to times. 5/1 flips to what we call the reciprocal. 1/5. 5/8 becomes 1/5. 5 times 1 is 5. 8 times 5 is 40. Biggest number that fits in the 5 and 40. If you have trouble with it, make your greatest common factor T-chart. Don't forget about that. So 5 and 40, well, 5 can go in both. So short division. It's a proper fraction, so short division, less work to do. Divide the top and bottom by 5. You'll get 1/8. 1/8 hour to finish each problem. And let's think about that for a second. Look at it real quick. Let's peek. 5/8 splitting it into 5. Well, if you have 5/8, that's 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. You're doing it 5 times, right? So if you split it up, it should be 1/8. 1/8 times 5 would be 5/8. Makes sense. All right, so that's all we did. It actually, since it already gave us the number 5 to deal with, it made it a lot easier because you're splitting it up 5 ways. That's 1/8 for everybody. All right, for each problem. Number 3. I'm going to keep number 2 in the window. All right, Mr. Smith made $25 selling donuts. We had a lot of trouble with this one on Thursday, so let's go over it here. $25 selling donuts. All right, that's what Mr. Smith made. We understand that so far. All right, he decided to spend. He spent 2/5 of his money on movies and 1/5 of his money on soda. Now, there's 2 different ways to solve this. You can either add up and subtract, or you can subtract twice. Those work both ways. I like the idea of adding up and subtracting. Sincere, can you please keep that head up? Goes down again. I'm going to have you stand. All right, so $25 selling donuts, 2/5 is spent on movies, and 1/5 is spent on soda. And look, it even tells you the problem again that you can work to solve these. 2/5 of his money. What's his money? $25. So 2/5 of $25. 2/5 times 25. But he also spent 1/5 of his money. So you can figure out what 2/5 of his money is and 1/5. Or you can save the time and put them together. 2/5 plus 1/5. That's easy. That would be 3/5. So 3/5 of his money is how much he spent, right? And so how much does he have left? All right, well, we'll figure that out in a minute. First of all, we know he spent 3/5 of his money. So let's find out what 3/5 of, multiply, his money, $25. 3/5 of 25. He spent 2/5, he spent 1/5. So we're doing like we did earlier, and we add them together, and we're going to subtract from the main number instead of subtracting twice. All right. Whole number, get rid of it. Put a 1 under it. 3 times 25 is 75. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 goes into 75. You can set it up because it's a big-headed baby. So denominator at the door, numerator in the house. 5 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. And you'll subtract. Remember, DMSB. If you can't remember how to do the long division, DMSB. All right, 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down your 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. No numerator remainder. So 15 wholes. So how much of his money has he spent so far? He spent 15. He spent 15. But it wants to know what? How much does he have left? If you have $25 and you spend $15, that's an easy problem to set up. $25 minus 15, $10. So that's how much he has left over. B, $10. And that's because 3/5 of his money is $15.